Hello, Scott here from Other Record Labels. Today I want to share with you a document that I created that I think will help you in preparing for your upcoming releases as an independent artist and as an independent record label. It's called the New Release Brief, and I'm going to give you a copy of it right now. Just go to otherrecordlabels.com/brief. If you're watching this video the day it came out and you get our weekly newsletter, then there's a direct download link you can get in our weekly newsletter. Basically what this is it comes from the marketing world. It's basically like this: if you're in a business and you're creating a new product or a new initiative, then you need to fill out this brief. It's basically like a questionnaire that asks you some of the important things about who's this product for, what is this product, what challenges might this product face when it's released, and what opportunities, what unique opportunities does it have. And so these are the things that I thought would be actually important for record labels to ask themselves when preparing a new release, whether that's a single, an EP, or an album. So I created the New Release Brief. You can download it totally for free. The link is in the description, and we're going to go through it together in this video. And I think it might be helpful for you. So make sure you download it and you pull it up while we go through together. Otherwise, I could just show it to you as well, and you can download it later. Real quick, what is it? Well, this is a reusable document. So this is something that you would use on every release, and that will just help you organize all of your info and data in one place. What are the benefits? Well, clearly organizing all of the details surrounding a release is good for you. Primarily it's good for you because it takes all of these, like, hey, these are the opportunities we have. This is the important metadata. There's all this stuff that the release dates, blah, blah, blah. Takes it all out of the sky and puts it down on paper or in this digital document that maybe you keep on Dropbox. Or if you're part of our Record Label Academy, I'll give you a Word document version of this as well. And you can convert that to a Google Doc and share it with your team and with the artist. It's really good if you're an independent label because artists will see that you're working and that you're organized and you're professional, which is always good. Also, this quote that I share all the time on this show is, what gets measured gets managed. And so I think it's really important for us to fill in all of these forms and all of these blanks when it comes to a new release. And then when you get through it, you realize, oh, look, there's a few things that are blank. We need to fill that in. So it's like you literally get to see what's missing in your new release. What is this tool not? Well, this is not really a marketing tool, even though it comes from the marketing world of creating a marketing brief. And there are some like marketing things in this, no doubt. But it's not necessarily like, this isn't like your marketing plan. This has details about retail pricing and formats and release days and songwriting information. So a lot more than just marketing. The other thing that this is not is an external document. This is not for the public to see. This is an internal document for you and your team, or just you and the artist. Finally, newsflash, this is not essential. This is for people who like to be organized. I've created like templates and checklists like this before on this channel, and it's really resonated with like a good percentage of people. So I just thought that this would be something really helpful and handy to have, but you don't have to use it. If you have your own system, great. You can copy and paste some of this, or take the Word doc version and copy and paste some of it and create your own bespoke thing, or just keep doing what you're doing. Okay, enough talking. Let's open it up and go through it together. Okay, so this is a 3-page PDF, as you can see here. This top right corner up here is for internal use only. I mean, it's all internal, but basically like this is where you would put your label name and the person who is filling this out together. So I would put my name and then today's date I'll put in here. Okay, so the first form, and by the way, this PDF, if you use Mac, you can use Preview, or you can probably use the free version of Acrobat. I'm using the paid version of Acrobat right now as a way to fill in these forms, but it's a fillable PDF, so hopefully you find that helpful. So release title would be album title. So, you know, if your album title is like super cool, awesome, and it's an EP, then we go down here and we click EP, but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Release date is going to be, let's say it is August 1st, 2024. We're kind of ahead of schedule here. So I've also put options for, is this release day finalized? Yep, this release day is finalized. But you could also say, no, it's actually tentative, or we don't know, right? We could just say right now it's to be determined. So uncheck that. There you go. Artist name, well, let's put me for right now, or maybe cool band, whatever. That's where you put the artist name. Is it a compilation? Are there other artists featured? This is helpful if you have, let's say the album has one song that features like a really popular artist or something. Well, you want to make sure you tag them when you're uploading that track to your digital distributor. because then this song will get fed to their followers on Spotify on their New Music Friday playlist. And so that's really important. What formats are we doing? Are we doing just downloads on Bandcamp? Are we doing streaming as well? And CDs and cassettes and vinyl and other, I don't know what other could be. So, like in my case, we're just going to do streaming, downloads, and vinyl. Okay, so a description. Briefly describe the details of this release. So let's here's a little self-promo. I have an album coming out in a couple of days, and it's kind of this like unique experience for me because I wrote and recorded it in 10 days. It's coming out on my label. It's my own record, and I already have the vinyl in hand, and this album was recorded just a little over 2 months ago, like 8 or 9 weeks ago. So that's kind of insane. I've never had like a creative experience like that. And so if I was filling out this new release brief, preparing for this record, I would say Scott's 5th full-length record, maybe I'll do point form. And then I would say, okay, so what are some key features? Let's highlight 3 interesting or exciting things about this release. So, okay, so I've already told you, like, using as an example, I would say the biggest thing is that it was written and recorded in 10 days. It's being released on vinyl, and it's also being released in quick succession. So it's like coming out pretty fast from when it's been recorded. So what are the opportunities? List the advantages and potential market openings for this release. Well, one of the opportunities I have is we have, the genre is lo-fi chill. And I feel like we have some like good playlisting opportunities because of the genre. And also I would say we have a distributor who is taking 100 copies on vinyl. Another opportunity is that recent interest in Japan. And I think they'll be interested in this record. What are the challenges? Well, the challenges are never released in the summer. So this is a summer release, so that could be a challenge. Sonically, it's different than my previous releases. And then it's also spontaneous, which like obviously we hope is going to be a selling point, but you know how your greatest strengths could also be your greatest weaknesses. So this is coming out of nowhere. It's out of like the normal release schedule. So we'll see. So with target customer is where you would put like for fans of similar artists and a demographic. Usually this would be the same for every release you do for your record label, or at least it would be the same target audience for your artist. So your artist would have the same target audience for all of their records. Here's something interesting, sorry. Looking at market access, and down here in the bottom right corner, market access, what that means is like what distribution channels or what opportunities in a way, what is your way to access this market? So if you look to the box to the left, the target customer. So if we've described someone who's like young, interested in art and lo-fi music, whatever, you know what I mean? And chill, yoga, music, whatever, coffee shops, books, reading, spelling. Okay, so keep tabbing here. What access do we have to them? Well, in this case, I have a distributor. I also have, in this case, I have access to 2 Japanese distros who are on board. And I also have strong Spotify following. So when you've outlined like what type of record this is and who your target customer is, it's really important to sit back and say, what kind of access do we have to them? What is our channels? And you might be watching this and going, you know what? We have great music. We have a great release. We have something, we know what our target audience is, but we actually don't have access to them. Like we don't have something in place. I mean, if you had a YouTube channel that celebrates a certain genre of music and now you're releasing an album in that genre, well, you have incredible access to them. If you put on shows in your local area for the fans of your music, then you have access to them. And so you might think, I actually don't have access to our target market. And so aside from this project, this is something you might want to look into and something you might want to work on over the next year or so. Okay, let's move on to page 2. We're getting into the marketing side of things for a little bit, but we're going to briefly describe the details of this release. And what I would say is like, we did an interview a couple years ago with Sammy Main, who's a bio writer, and we did an episode on bio writing. And one of the things that she suggested to do, which is incredibly helpful, is to sit down and interview, you as a record label, sit down and interview your artist about their new album. And so ask them about the writing process and the meaning behind the songs. Just have a conversation with them. It doesn't have to be a formal interview, but record it on your iPhone memos or whatever, and then listen back, and you'll be able to pull some really cool quotes from your conversation. And because it was in conversation mode, they'll be able to express more intimately some of the details about making this album. This is a great way to start to build the marketing message for your release, because if you just sat down and asked them, what does this album mean to them? Well, that's going to be hard for them to say something, and they're going to try to want to say something that's like catchy and cool. But what's really cool is if you just sit down and have a conversation, record it for an hour, and then listen back and type up some of the things that they said, I think you'll get a lot more gold in that way. And so that's kind of your marketing message there, is like, what's some of the unique positioning and interesting stories behind this album. Once you have that, then it's important to create an album bio. That's like 2 to 3 sentences long, that you would use on Bandcamp, on the album description section of Bandcamp. You'd copy and paste it, put it in their Spotify bio as well. You could put it on the artist's website or use it on social media. And then a one-liner is not necessary, but it's like a shorter album bio. So you have this marketing message, which is just all of the top-level thoughts for this album. Then you condense it down into 3 sentences that's really concise and really clear, and that's your album bio. Could be a little longer if you want. And then a one-liner. And so for the record I've been talking about, my own record, it's like I did this record wrote and recorded it in 10 days. And so that's been like, unintentionally, that's been my liner when I send it to press and when I send it to people. It's like, I think you might think this is cool because it's kind of a good record considering it was written and recorded in 10 days. So that's like been my one-liner. So let's take a look here at the distribution channels. So for me, I'm going to do streaming. I'm going to do Bandcamp. Where are we selling this record, right? That's the question. I'm going to drop some off at my local record store. I don't have an online store right now. And so I'm going to also say other, and I'm going to say Vinyl Club. There's a Vinyl Club who will be selling them for me. There you go. There's my distribution. What quantities? Well, for my release, I'm doing no CDs. I'm doing no tapes, and I'm going to do 250 records, and that's it. Track listing, it's always good to have a track listing because, you know what, if you're working on, listen, if you recorded this record, if it's your own record, you know the songs intimately, right? But if you're a record label, or if people working at your record label, you may not know the track order, or you may know the track order, but you don't know what the songs are supposed to sound like. And so having your artist give you a track listing and even audio files with the names converted to their track number and their track title, it's just really important, helps you stay organized. Pre-release single, I like to do 3 pre-release singles, sometimes 2, depending on, I mean, if it's just a single, it doesn't matter. So this doesn't really matter if we were just promoting a single here. And then their release dates, I usually have them a couple weeks to a couple months apart. Album credits is where you'll want to put producer, you want to put the instrumentation, the instrumentalist, that kind of stuff. Producer also can go down here. Total running time is nice to have as well. Let's go to page 3 real quick. Public announcement date. So we have your release date, right? We talked about this at the very beginning, but you also have a public announcement date. So that means that if the album's coming out June 1st, 2024, well, you might tell people about that on the day that you release your first single, and is also the day you release pre-orders. And so your public announcement date might be 2 months earlier. So let's say the album's coming out June 1st, 2024. So let's say we're going to announce to everybody on April 1st. That's kind of a weird day. And we're going to do maybe the week later, maybe on a week later when we do, or maybe even let's say like 2 weeks later, we'll do a second single. and we'll do pre-order that day. What's our digital price? This is for Bandcamp, right? Because we don't determine our digital price anywhere else other than maybe like if you have like a digital store on Shopify. This would be Bandcamp. So if it's a full album, I might say like $7. Retail price means like on Bandcamp, and on my Shopify store, how much am I selling the physical copies for? And if they're in a retail store, how much do I want to sell them for? So for a tape, it might be $15. CD might be $15. Tapes might be $10. Vinyl might be $25. In that case, if I'm selling them wholesale to my local record store or to a distributor, what kind of wholesale discount are they expecting? So if I'm selling my vinyl for $25, they might want 40% discount on the retail price, in which case, what is that? Maybe $15 is what they're expecting to pay, somewhere in that range. So we'll want to fill that out. This isn't hugely important, but it's kind of good to do some sales projections on vinyl, like first week. And here's how you can do this. This is just a little trick. You, as a record label, can go back to your previous release and see what did you do, not for this artist, but just in your previous release this time last year or 2 weeks ago when you did a release. You start to get a sense of how they'll sell. Also, go back to your artist if you've already worked with this artist and look 2 years ago when they released a record, how many did they sell? And I do that a lot, and it's really helpful to kind of predict the future and to kind of temper your expectations. This is a section where people can get really freaked out, so be very careful, because if you say, oh yeah, we're going to sell 100 copies week one, and then by the end of the first month, we'll have sold 500 copies, then all of a sudden, when you only sell 2 copies in a month, then your artist is going to be really sad and depressed and angry at you. So temper your expectations here. And if you don't want to do sales projections, then leave this section blank. And then finally, just a section for project notes that you can list some extra notes there. So I hope you found this helpful. Go to otherrecordlabels.com/brief, where you can download this for free as a PDF that you can enter and duplicate and print off if you want and use for your upcoming release. If you're part of our Record Label Academy, which you should check out, by the way, then you'll get a copy of this as a Word document and a PDF. And finally, if you get our newsletter and you're watching this on the day it came out, then you'll get a direct download link to this PDF in your email. Otherwise, go to otherrecordlabels.com/brief. Let me know in the comments if there's any other types of forms or templates that I can make to help you run your record label, or if there's ways that I can improve this new release brief. Feel free to let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful.